What if I told you that there's a technology that doesn't just protect your money, but could completely change the way you see your financial future? Would you believe me? And what if I told you this technology has existed for more than a decade, has survived global crises, and yet most people still ignore it? Yes, I'm talking about Bitcoin. And today you'll understand step by step how it can transform your financial freedom, and why now is the right time to start looking at it in a whole new way. Welcome to Channel Name, where we talk about money, personal development, and of course the role of Bitcoin in all of this. If you want to build a stronger financial future and gain more autonomy over your money, you're in the right place. So subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and let's dive into this complete guide on how Bitcoin can transform your financial life. Before we can understand how Bitcoin can help you, we need to talk about the problem you face every single day without even noticing: traditional money. The money you use daily, dollars, euros, reais, is no longer backed by anything. Governments can print as much as they want, whenever they want, and this creates inflation. And inflation is a silent thief. It eats away at your salary, your savings, and your future. Think about it. Something that cost $100 5 years ago now costs $200 or more. That doesn't mean the product became more valuable. It means your money lost value. And here's the trap. You work harder, but you feel like you're not moving forward. Why? Because the system is designed to keep you running in circles. You earn, you spend, you pay taxes, and every year you're left with less. It's like playing a game where the rules are stacked against you from the start. And it was in this scenario that Bitcoin was born in 2008. A mysterious figure known as Satoshi Nakamoto created an alternative financial system, one that doesn't rely on banks or governments. A form of money that cannot be printed endlessly with a fixed supply and that you can hold without needing any intermediaries. Bitcoin was born in response to the 2008 financial crisis, when banks collapsed, governments printed trillions, and millions of people lost their homes, jobs, and savings. In other words, Bitcoin wasn't created by accident. It was a direct response to the failure of the traditional financial system. A silent rebellion against monetary manipulation and the unfair system that traps ordinary people like you and me. So what exactly makes Bitcoin so unique compared to any other form of money? First, it's limited. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins in existence. This scarcity means that, unlike dollars or reais, it cannot be inflated forever. Second, it's decentralized. There's no Bitcoin president or CEO. The network is made up of thousands of computers around the world, and every change requires global consensus. Third, it's secure and transparent. Every single transaction is recorded on a technology called blockchain, a public, immutable ledger. And here's the most important part. Anyone with internet access can participate. It doesn't matter if you live in São Paulo, New York, or in the middle of a country in crisis. Bitcoin is for everyone. Now let me show you something most people don't realize. Bitcoin doesn't just change how you invest, it changes how you think about your future. There's a concept called time preference. It basically measures whether you value the present more or the future more. People with a high time preference spend everything now without thinking about tomorrow. People with a low time preference save, invest, and build wealth over time, and Bitcoin directly impacts this. When you realize that every dollar you spend today could instead be converted into Bitcoin, which may increase in value over time, you naturally begin to think twice before spending on unnecessary things. The result? You build better habits, reduce wasteful spending, and develop financial discipline. In fact, many people who start stacking Bitcoin say they quit smoking, drinking excessively, and wasting money on trivial things. Why? Because they now have a long-term vision. Another essential point, Bitcoin protects against inflation. While fiat currencies lose value year after year, Bitcoin is programmed to become increasingly scarce. This happens because of an event called the halving, which takes place every 4 years and cuts the number of new Bitcoins being created in half. In practice, this means that with every cycle, supply decreases while demand grows, driving the price up. And here's the crazy part. People who started buying Bitcoin in 2013, even in small amounts, have multiplied their wealth many times over. This isn't a get-rich-quick promise. It's simply proof that Bitcoin, as a store of value, has already outperformed government-issued money in many ways. If fiat currency is like an open faucet where water keeps leaking out, Bitcoin is like a sealed tank where every drop counts. But Bitcoin isn't just about money, it's also about personal freedom. With Bitcoin, you don't need a bank's permission to move your money. No bureaucrat can freeze your account. No bank holiday can delay your transactions. And here's the kicker. You can send or receive money anywhere in the world in minutes with no intermediaries. This means that in countries with authoritarian regimes or unstable economies, Bitcoin can literally be a survival tool. And even in stable countries, it represents independence. It's like finally holding a key that opens every locked door in the financial system without needing anyone's approval. Now that you understand Bitcoin's power, the real question is, how do you get started? First, educate yourself. Never put money into something you don't understand. Dedicate a few hours per week to learning. Second, choose a reputable exchange to buy your first fractions of Bitcoin. Yes, you don't need to buy a full one. You can start with $10, $20, or $50. Third, learn how to store it securely. Use digital wallets and, ideally, hardware wallets to keep your coins safe and outside third-party control. Fourth, think long-term. Bitcoin is not about getting rich overnight. It's about preserving value and building financial freedom over the years. And remember, consistency is what matters. It's better to invest small amounts regularly than to gamble everything at once. Looking ahead, Bitcoin is still young, but it has already proven to be resilient. It has survived brutal crashes, government bans, and endless criticism from economists and the media. And every cycle, more people, more companies, and even entire countries adopt Bitcoin. This proves it's not a fad, but a profound transformation in how we understand money. Imagine 10 or 20 years from now, when millions more people are using Bitcoin. Do you want to be one of the early adopters, or one of the people who ignored the opportunity? Just like those who believed in the internet back in the 1990s and now reap the rewards, Bitcoin represents the dawn of a new era. The only question is, will you watch from the sidelines, or will you be part of it? So, to recap, Bitcoin can transform your financial freedom because it's scarce, decentralized, transparent, resistant to inflation, and because it changes how you think about your own future. And here's my invitation. Start small, but start today. Every step you take toward Bitcoin brings you closer to freedom and farther from a broken system. Now I want to hear from you. Which part of this video made you think the most about Bitcoin? Drop your answer in the comments below. And if this content made sense to you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to understand what's truly at stake. See you in the next video.